So today's lesson is going to be a mindfulness lesson, and very much focusing on awareness of movement, which has an effect on the mind in that it slows the mind down and can have quite a number of beneficial effects, both emotionally but also on the body. As we slow down, we tend to relax a little bit more. So come to lift and roll your shoulders back and down. And raise your right arm up. Turn your head away from your right arm. Come back to the centre and lower your right arm down alongside you. And then breathing in, raise your left arm, stretching it up. Breathe out, turn your head away from your left arm. Breathe in, coming back to the centre with your head, and breathing out, lower your left arm. Lift and roll your shoulders, so this opens the energy pathways to the head and the brain. And then breathing in, raise your hands up, palms touch. Breathing out, come down through the centre with your hands. Bend your knees and touch the floor. Breathing in, flat back as you lengthen from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, soften your knees. Press your feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, hands up, palms together, coming through the centre. Bend your knees, touch the floor with your fingertips. Breathing in, lengthen your spine, flat back. Breathing out, soften your knees. Press your feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Step your feet hip width apart as we come into this very familiar energy flow. So this moves all 5 energies in the body. We'll find this in a lot of Eastern practices, so not just yoga, but Tai Chi, Qigong, and you're balancing the left and the right feet, the pelvis and the hips. You're balancing your brain hemispheres as you shift from side to side. It really is a brilliant mindfulness de-stressor. And then come very, very gently to stand still, lift and roll your shoulders, and then come to lying on the mat in Shavasana with your legs stretched out along the floor. Take a moment to adjust yourself to be comfortable. Hands down alongside you, palms down. Extend your right foot, your right heel, and relax it. And extend your left foot, your left heel, and relax it. Breathing in, raise your right arm and extend your right heel. Keep your right arm stretched out behind you and turn your head to the left away from your right arm. And stay here for an in and an out breath. Bring your head back to the centre as you breathe in, and breathing out, lower your right arm and relax your right leg. Extend your left heel and raise your left arm behind you, stretching your arm up above you. Breathing out, turn your head to the right, away from your left arm. Stay here for an in breath as you stretch your left hand up again. and relax. And when you're ready, bring your head back to the centre and breathing out, lower your left arm back down alongside you. And breathing in, raise both arms up above you. You can hook your thumbs if you want to get a greater leverage, just stretching up, extending both heels, and then breathing out, lower your arms and bend your left knee in towards your chest, hugging your left knee into the chest. Your right leg can stay extended along the floor, or you can bend your right leg so that your foot's on the floor and your knees up to the ceiling. So that's your choice. Hugging your left knee into the chest, just very gently circle your left knee a few times in one direction. And then circle your left knee a few times in the other direction. And then clasping your hands underneath your left thigh, extend your left foot up towards the ceiling and extend your left heel. Point and flex your left foot a couple of times. And then very gently start to circle your left ankle in one direction. And then very gently circle your left ankle in the other direction. Hug your left knee into the chest and place your left foot back down alongside you. You can either keep your left knee bent up to the ceiling, or you can extend your left leg along the floor to join the right. Your choice. Bring your attention now to the right side as you bend the right knee, hugging the right knee in towards the chest. Apanasana. Apana is the foundational of the 5 energies that we looked at when we went from side to side. And very gently circle your right knee in one direction. And then very gently circle your right knee in the other direction. And dropping your hands now to underneath your right thigh, clasping them, and extend your right foot to the ceiling. Extend your right heel, and point and flex your right foot a couple of times. And then come to circle your right ankle in one direction. And then circle your right ankle in the other direction. And then gently bend your right knee in towards your chest again, that Apanasana aspect to this pose. And then very gently release your foot back onto the ground. Bend your other left foot, so your left and right feet are both on the ground, both knees are up to the ceiling. Bend your elbows and hold each elbow above your head. If that's too much, just slide your hands as you're holding along the forearms or even your wrists, and keep your arms up above your head, stretching out under the arms. Your feet can remain hip width apart, or you can make them slightly wider by moving them towards the edge of the mat, the outside edge of the mat, and then breathing out, let both knees drop to the right. You lift your left hip off the ground. Your head can stay straight, or you can just gently turn it towards the left and take an in and an out breath here. And then tummy in, engage your perineum, about 10% of your capacity, 20% maximum, to bring your knees back to upright. Your hands stay where they are, and then let both knees drift over to the left, lifting your right hip off the floor. And how far you let your knees drift to the left is optional. There'll come a point when you feel it's right for you. And then bring your knees back to the centre, and now just sway your knees from side to side. In a windscreen-like motion, you go to entirely where you feel you'd like to go to. It's massaging across the top of the bottom. There's a very satisfying acupressure point that you go over when you rock your knees from side to side. It's that point that you'll find sometimes in other disciplines where they put a tennis ball underneath your bottom. You can do this yourself just by being in this position and rocking from side to side. You can optionally turn your head fractionally from side to side too. And then come to bring your knees back to the centre. Lower your arms back down alongside you and hug one knee in and then the other knee into the chest. Rocking from side to side. Open your knees so that they're in a V. How much is up to you, and begin to circle your knees while you're holding them with your hands. So the knees will open and then come back to the centre as you circle in one direction. You're moving the tops of your legs and the hip sockets and then circle your knees in the other direction. And then slide your hands down your shins to hold above your ankles in a form of supine Baddha Konasana or bound cobbler's pose. So your big toes are vaguely aiming together, they don't have to touch, and you'll feel the stretch in your upper inner thighs. So the last pose we had our arms above our heads, and that was for our immune system at the upper lymph at the upper part of our body, and this is at the base, the bottom part, as you've got your thigh and groin has a proliferation of lymph, which is part of our immune system. And then for those of you who can, you can still hold your ankles, but you have an option to place your hands underneath the soles of your feet and come into a happy baby pose. Just further opening your, really your hips, your lower back. Your knees aim towards the ceiling, towards the floor, and your feet are up towards the ceiling. Just gently rock from side to side. And if you would, then this is optional, you could hold your big toes, straighten your legs into a proper V, and just again rock from side to side. This is optional because you do need to have long arms to be able to reach your big toe. If not, you could just hold your ankles or hold your shins. And very gently bend your knees in, hug your knees into your chest. Still holding them, let them move to arm's length. Hug your knees into your chest. Let them move to arm's length. Hug your knees into your chest and let them move to arm's length. And then we're going to be coming in our own time to rolling over and coming to a tabletop cat-cow position. So you can do this by rocking up and coming over to your knees, or you can do it very slowly by rolling to the right and taking your time to come up, readjusting, and then coming onto your knees. Again, you choose. Classically, you would roll to the side. So coming onto your knees, hands and knees, cat-cow. So hands are shoulder width apart. Thumb and second finger are pressing down in particular, but all your fingers are pressing down, and your knees are hip width apart. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking either up or along the mat. Breathing out, round in your back, chin comes to the chest, in a cow. And again, a couple of more times in your time. Breathing in, cat. Breathing out, cow. Breathing in, cat. And breathing out, this time as you come into cow, tuck your toes underneath and come into dog. Downward facing dog. Lengthen your spine by pushing your bottom high and bending your knees, and then begin to straighten your legs. Feel that you can adjust your feet, bringing them closer to your hands, maybe having them a bit wider. Your heels, of course, don't have to touch the ground. And really bend your right knee, which will allow you to stretch out the back of your left leg. And then really bend your left knee, that this will allow you to stretch out your right leg, the back of the leg. And then freestyle walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other knee alternately. And then very gently bend your knees and begin to walk your feet to your hands to your feet, and then come into a soft forward fold, keeping your knees soft or even bent. You can hold your elbows or just let your hands come to the floor or come to your shins in a slightly forward bend. Keeping your knees very soft allows you to really support your back, your lower back, as your torso almost rests on the tops of your legs. And then very gently begin to roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And when you're up, lift and roll your shoulders, step with your feet out, and turn your left foot in, right foot out. Bring your hands up into warrior two and look over your right front hand. You can just soften your weight by bending your front right knee and feel that someone's holding your back left hand, pulling you back almost, so that you're not coming forward, you're dropping your weight more centrally. And then you can slightly straighten your leg or keep it soft. Bring your left palm to your right palm. Draw your left hand back, keeping your left elbow high to draw your bow. Breathing in, looking up to your thumb. And then open your arms into your warrior. You can soften your front knee optionally. Bring your left palm to your right palm. Draw your left elbow back high. Raise your right thumb, looking upwards, and then opening both hands outwards. And last time, left palm to right. Draw your left elbow back, bringing it high as you draw your imaginary bow. Raise your right arm upwards, looking up towards your thumb. Opening both hands. Dropping your arms. Turning your right foot in. And then carrying on to turn your right foot more in and turning your left foot out. Soften your front left knee and come into a warrior two, looking over your front left hand. Feel that someone's pulling you back, holding your right hand. And then you can straighten your leg slightly as you bring your right palm to your left palm. Draw your right elbow back high, drawing your bow. Breathing in, raising your arm up to the ceiling, looking at your thumb, and opening your arms out wide. Right palm goes to left palm. Draw your right elbow back high, drawing your bow. Breathing in, raise your left elbow, a hand up, looking at your left thumb, and then opening out. And one last time, right palm to left. Draw your right elbow back. Left hand up, looking up. Open your arms. Drop your hands. Bring your left foot inwards so that your feet are parallel. You might even want to bring your toes slightly in and your heels out. And then bend your knees, sliding your hands to the inside of your thighs. And just sway from foot to foot. As you sway to the right, you can bring your left elbow into the centre. Come to sway to the centre, and as you sway to go over to the left, your right elbow can just bend slightly. And then just very gently bend your knees a little bit more and place your hands on the floor. And you might feel that you want to widen your feet out as you come to a forward bend. Here again, you can bend the knees from side to side, swaying from side to side. And while you're here, you can bring your left hand towards your right foot, which will encourage you to turn out to the right, and you can place your right hand on your right waist. Your chin can tuck in, and you can look sideways or up behind you, taking an in and an out breath. And then come back to the centre and walk your right hand towards your left foot, which will turn you towards the left automatically. Bring your left hand to your left waist, elbow up, and turn your head to either look straight out or up behind you. Chin tucks in to protect the back of your neck. And then just come back to the centre. Heel toe your feet in, fractionally, to a position where you're comfortable to roll up to standing. And then lift and roll your shoulders. And come to your variation of trees. So perhaps standing on the left foot, you can rest your heel against your right heel against your left leg, inner leg. And depending on your balance, you can raise your right leg higher. I'm not going to go very high because I'm going to wobble. But tree is a mindfulness exercise in that you have to focus and concentrate to balance. So it engages the mind. Your hands can be out, Dhyana Mudra, thumb to index finger. They can be together at the heart, or depending on your balance, you can have your arms up. Of course, classically, the more you turn your right leg out, the better, but that's not easier said than done. And the other thing, it's very easy to really put weight into the left hip and bow it out. So try and, it's again easier said than done, try and keep your left leg straight and engaged so that you're not bowing out. And then gently come out of that, just slightly sway from side to side. And come to reverse your movement to standing on your right foot, turning your left foot, your left heel goes to rest on your right ankle inside, and then you can raise your leg up. Just a moment of focus. And then very gently come out. Just move slightly from side to side. And we're going to come back down to the mat. So bringing your hands up the heart centre. Come down to kneeling, and then we're going to come down to puppy pose. Kneeling, bottom up. Knees are hip width apart. Come to kneeling on your elbows, leaning on your elbows, bottom up.
And you can begin to stretch your arms away from you. Your head might rest on the floor. You might like to alternately lift your right arm, elbow off the floor, and just come onto your right fingertips. That's an option. In which case you do the same to the left. Or just keep with your elbows on the floor. You'll feel this is going into your upper back, so it's a shoulder, between the shoulder blades really, your thoracic area. So again, it's a way to release this upper back area. And then you can come to slide onto your tummy, which come to Sphinx pose. So elbows stay on the ground. You can bring your elbows in slightly towards you, just adjust them to feel comfortable, and look down. Just wobble your bottom from side to side, jelly wobble. It's a sacroiliac stabilizer. You can optionally tuck your right toes underneath, lift your right leg, extend your right heel back, stretching out the right leg, and then replace the right leg gently back down to the floor and come to a jelly wobble. And then tuck your left toes underneath, extend your left heel back, the whole of your left leg lifts off the floor, replace your left leg on the floor, and then jelly wobble again. Elbows out as you rest your hands onto the backs, bring your head onto the backs of your hands. You can turn your head to one side or to the other. Knees apart, and lift your soles of your feet to the ceiling, and just gently windscreen wiper. Your hips might just lift off. Windscreen wiper your legs from side to side. And this is quite releasing to the lower back. Your body and skeleton is being supported by the floor, so your body is not being asked to support you as it normally does. It can release a little bit. And then if you are particularly, this is, I stress, quite optional, you can bring your hands back to hold on to one ankle and then the other and come into bow. This is optional because it's quite strong, but just lifting up, opening your back. Come back down when you're ready. Release your legs back to the ground. Press your hands into the floor, elbows come in. To come back onto your knees. Bring your bottom to your heels. Your knees can go wider apart, big toes slightly together. Come into a child pose, extended child. Just for a couple of breaths. And then very gently begin to walk your hands towards your knees to support you as you gently, gradually come up to a seated position. Into cobbler's pose. Soles of the feet together. There are different expressions of cobbler's pose. So the classic cobbler's pose is to place your clasped hands over your big toes and feet. That really is the strongest one, and you'll feel the stretch in your inner thighs. But if that's uncomfortable, then just slide your hands to let your thumbs drop to the soles of your feet and just massage them as you go. And you can come even slightly further up, which straightens your back, to hold your ankles or even above your ankles. You can just bounce your knees. This is believed in some traditions of yoga, particularly Tibetan yoga, that it distributes the energy when you bounce your knees. You're just giving a movement to your legs. And so the next one is optional and fun, but I stress optional. You can walk your feet towards you, take hold of your big toes, and then extend one leg up. Don't laugh when I fall backwards, and then the other one, so that you are extending both legs.
The trick is to balance, but try not to fall back. You can feel the stretch on your inside legs. I do stress that this is optional though. Breathing in and breathing out. And then bend your knees, place your feet gracefully on the floor, and stretch your legs out again in a V. You've got the ground supporting you this time. And just slide your hands down your legs, holding your big toes with gravity supporting you, with the earth supporting you here. If your hands don't come to your big toes, you can thumbs on top, second and third finger under. You can just hold anywhere on your shins. It's meant to be a restful pose, just coming forward. Walk the right hand to the left shin, so both hands are on the left shin, which will mean that your torso turns to the left. And take a couple of breaths here. Your soles of your feet, your heels are extended and your toes are up to the ceiling, which will keep the leg muscles engaged. And there are benefits to that. You're not letting your muscles go. You're just engaging your muscles. And then walk your hands to the centre and then walk them over to the right. So both hands are on your right shin. You choose position on your right shin wherever that works for you, so that you're turning to the right and you'll feel the stretch on your left side. Try and keep your left hip bone on the floor, which will mean that your hands might go slightly higher in order to achieve that. And then sliding your hands up, bring your legs together more in a legs out in front of you, and just place your hands either side of you in Dandasana, so fingers pointing forward, and just press your hands down and lift your chest. It's optional to lift your chin, but if you do with control, not throw your head back. So it's an uplifting pose. It also counteracts the forward movement that we've been making. And then just release and coming out. And then gently come to lie on your back again, hugging your knees into your chest. And keep your knees hugged into your chest. Open your arms out, either to an A at shoulder height, or drop your arm either to a T at shoulder height, or drop your arms down to form an A, and roll both knees over to the right. Your left hip will obviously lift off the ground. And turn your head to look over your left shoulder. So if you've got the space and the flexibility, you can now extend your legs out straight to the right and hold either your big toe or just hold along the thigh somewhere. That is an option. It's a twist, it's a rotation. So any rotation is realigning the spine. Tummy in, really press the palms of your hands down into the floor to support lifting your body back up so that your knees are back into your chest again. And then roll your knees to the left, your right hip will lift, and you can turn your head towards the right. And you can stay like this, or you can extend your legs out to the left, and you can hold either your left soles of your feet, or just your left arm can hold your right thigh.
And turn your head to look up or to the right. You'll feel this under your arms, so hence the invitation to make your arms an A shape if the T is too strong. Tummy in, engage your perineum. To support you, press your palms down to lift back up to the centre, hugging your knees into the chest again. And then just very gently hugging the knees into the chest, still holding them, let them drift away from you to arm's length. And do that a few times in your own breath. Hugging in and just letting them move away. Hugging in and then letting them move away. A few times. And then very gently let both feet get travel back down to the ground. Your knees are up to the ceiling. Hands can either be resting on the abdomen or palms down. I'm going to rest my palms on my abdomen just to tune into my breath. My elbows are slightly out to the side. And just turn your head gently from side to side. So this is a nod to the neck and the thyroid and parathyroid glands in the neck area. And the thyroid can often go out of balance when we get to a certain age, and continued stress can lead to autoimmune conditions because the adrenals get exhausted. There is a connection, by the way, if you're wondering where I'm jumping around in the body, but the thyroid can reflect autoimmune, so it's very helpful to just gently turn the head from side to side. Your head's being supported totally by the ground, so again, no danger to your neck, it's just very gently held by the ground. And bringing your head back to centre. Bring your mind to the third eye, so that's the dent in the middle of your forehead, but imagine that part of the head, the middle of the head, the brain. And as you breathe in, just imagine them breathing in to the third eye. And as you breathe out, let the breath take out with it from the third eye anything that you don't want today, anything that's not serving you. Breathing into the third eye and breathing out, letting anything not serving you today drift away. And then take a moment to set your intention for the day. Anything for you or for someone close to you. And now choose a colour and wrap yourself like cotton wool in your favourite colour. Top, bottom, back, front, side, side. Keeping positivity in, protecting you for the day ahead. And you can stay where you are to bring the palms of your hands together. Raise the hands up with the backs of the thumbs to touch your third eye of your forehead. Your elbows will be slightly high. Take a bow for yourself today, and thank you very much for joining me.